Hey guys, I hope you're all having a good summer and you had a great weekend. I went down to the Taste of the Danforth over the weekend, and for those of you who don't know what the Taste of the Danforth is, it's a festival in Toronto along Toronto's Danforth Street, and what it is there are a lot of restaurants down there and stores that open up booths on the street. They close off the street, and you can go from restaurant to restaurant having little samples of their meal. Of course, you have to pay. But anyway, why am I telling you this? Well, I wanted to show off something that I picked up on the Danforth. It's this nice hat. It's a Maple Leafs hat. Retail value, $35. Looks like it's a fitted hat. It's actually elastic. Licensed by the NHL and everything. On the Danforth, $10. So I'm pumped about this hat. Anyway, on to the video. This is just a quick update on news around the league. A couple of things that have happened in the past few days, so let's go. In a story that just refuses to die, Jim Balsillie is now back in the running again to purchase the Phoenix Coyotes. Now, this story was talked about ad nauseum when it first broke, and I even made a video about it, and then I got fed up with the whole thing. And now it seems to be re-emerging just after I got over being fed up with it. What's happened is Judge Redfield T. Baum, the judge handling the Coyotes case, has allowed Jim Balsillie to bid on the team when it comes up for auction in September 10th. His offer of $212.5 million would seem to be the highest bid, but we'll have to wait to see if there will be anyone willing to bid higher. When Bill Daly was reached for comment and he was asked what they thought would happen if Balsillie entered the winning bid, he replied, "We don't expect him to get that far." And sure enough, a few days later, the owners of the NHL teams wrote a letter to Judge Baum asking that he revoke his decision to allow Balsillie to enter into the auction. Their reason was they had a vote that would reject Balsillie from being an owner because he was untrustworthy in their view, and they said that Judge Baum had no authority to overturn that decision. Now, to jump back into this again, would an NHL team be successful in Hamilton? Absolutely. Will it happen? Not bloody likely. The problem is, it was ruled by Judge Baum that Balsillie could not attach a movement clause to an offer to purchase the Coyotes. Now, Balsillie can purchase a team in Judge Baum's view, but that's all he can do. Once he purchases it, he has to go through the NHL's channels to move a team, which makes it virtually impossible. It first has to be approved by the board of directors, then it has to be approved by a majority of the teams, then he has to maneuver his way around the restriction of moving a team within 80 kilometers of an existing team, meaning Toronto. At some point, Balsillie will be stopped in the process because everyone in power just seems against the idea of Canada having a seventh team. And Balsillie won't purchase a team just to keep it in Phoenix. He wants a team in Hamilton. That was the only reason he wants to purchase this team. So we'll have to see what happens over the next couple of weeks if the owners are successful in stopping Balsillie. On to other news, the Danny Heatley saga took another turn recently. After the Edmonton Oilers publicly declared that they are no longer interested in Danny Heatley, Ottawa has reportedly been in talks with the San Jose Sharks. They've been trying to iron out a deal which, according to sources, would involve a freaky three-way with Montreal. The scenario I've heard is that Ottawa would send Danny Heatley to San Jose would send Patrick Marleau to Montreal, and Montreal would send Thomas Plekanec, Yaroslav Halak, and or Roman Hamrlik to Ottawa. The problem is all three teams are up against the cap, so the numbers just don't work out, especially for Montreal's end. Montreal would have to do some fancy maneuvering to accommodate Marleau's contract. But assuming this trade went through, who's the winner? I'd say the Sharks. It pains me to say it because I dislike Heatley, but Danny Heatley can put up lots of points. I mean, yes, Heatley does choke in the playoffs, but so does Marleau. So it's better to have a playoff choker that produces 40 to 50 regular season goals rather than a playoff choker who produces 30 to 40 regular season goals. And the Habs would add some major skill because Marleau is a very good player, and Ottawa Ottawa loses this trade in a major way. Plekanec, yeah, he's alright, but Halak is a backup goalie who's shown only glimpses of brilliance, and Roman Hamrlik is average and way overpaid. So the Sens let go of their best player and pick up 2, possibly 3 average players. On to a little Leaf news. Justin Pogge has been traded to Anaheim for a conditional 5th round pick that could improve based on Pogge's play this season. Now, I've defended Pogge up and down all season long, but I do agree that there just wasn't room for him here in Toronto. With the signing of Gustafsson as our backup, the writing was on the wall for Pogge to go, and he really hasn't put up the numbers, even in the AHL, to justify us keeping him. I think a change of scenery is just what Justin Pogge needs. Maybe it'll light a fire under him, and it'll take the spotlight on him, because that's a really hard thing to deal with, being a young, developing goaltender in Toronto. I wish Justin Pogge all the best. Hopefully you'll be able to crack an NHL lineup someday, whether it's in Anaheim or elsewhere. Good luck, Justin. The Leafs have also signed goaltender Joey McDonald, who was a free agent who just played with the New York Islanders. Joey McDonald becomes our 3rd-string goalie and will likely spend the vast majority of the season with the Marlies. One more thing before I go. I've had this conversation on Leaf Space with Dave89, aka Angusaholic on YouTube, and Fiddlestick89 on YouTube. We were basically asking each other, is Burke done? So I'll ask you the same thing. Do you see Brian Burke making any more moves before the season starts? In my view, it looks like Burke could be standing pat with his current lineup. It looks more and more like he's sticking with Calverley, and he did say a while ago that he had a trade offer involving one of his defensemen, but nothing seems to have come of that. Ideally, I would have wanted him to trade for one top 6 forward, but he said he wants to leave a spot or 2 open in his lineup for competition for guys like Hansen and Bozak. Now, this does worry me just a tiny bit, because yes, we were 10th in the league in goals last year, but that was also with Pavel Kubina and Nick Antropov in the lineup. We removed those 2 players, and yes, we did beef up the defense, but we'll just have to see how that affects production. Some guys will have to step up in a major way if we're going to return to the form we had on offense last year. I wouldn't be surprised if another move happened, but right now, it looks like Burke's going to stick with the people he has. But what do you think? Comment below, or even a video response if the mood strikes. Alright, that's it here. I will be seeing you again in a few weeks. But for now, go Leafs go.